YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about Windows 98 and a little bit of Windows 95. First, Windows 95 introduced a new shell, which is the taskbar, and the start menu. In the start menu you can launch applications or open documents. And in Windows 3.1 was the program manager, and it had different folders you can click on to open up the applications. But now Windows 95 introduced the start menu. And the file manager was replaced with Windows Explorer as well. And then Windows 95 introduced plug and play. It was the first 32-bit system of Windows, and support ended on December 31st, 2001. Now let's go to Windows 98. Windows 98 released on June 25th, 1998, and introduced forward and back buttons in the Windows Explorer and Internet Explorer. So the back buttons are here, and you're going to go to test again, back, forward. As well, it also introduced Active Desktop, which is a utility to launch a website or a web page by clicking on the desktop background. So let's do that now. So let's go to Properties, scroll down. As you can see, the Windows 98, which this will bring you to the, well, back in the day, this will bring you to the Microsoft website, but nowadays, the internet won't work on Windows 98 anymore. Let's click on that, and the Internet Explorer just goes away because the internet's not working anymore. But that's how the way it worked. So this is just a shortcut to a web page, just by clicking on that logo right there. So now, it introduced a new disk cleanup tool, which is in Programs, Accessories, System Tools, and Disk Cleanup. And this is basically like CCleaner, which is deletes cookies and temporary files and stuff you don't need. And you can free more disk space by removing optional Windows components that you do not use as well. It's pretty nice. So, and it introduced ACPI, which enabled support to use Hibernate and Standby. And it also added System Config, which is a new system utility used to disable services that are not required to run Windows. And it also added Windows Update for the first time, and this tool was used to notify users of major updates. So now let's take a tour of the system. So to get to System Config, what you need to do is hold down the Start button, click on R, and type it on msconfig in the Run button. In the Run window. And here you can disable services that you don't need. You can create system backups, and you can add startup programs, and remove startup programs as well. And Windows Update, I can't get to it, but I'll show you a picture of Windows Update at the end. So programs. Let's take a little tour around the operating system, shall we? So this is the new and improved control panel, and it has icons have more colors now, and add new hardware is the plug and play feature. Like some of the hardware that you got with your computer back then comes with CDs, and the hardware that doesn't, you can install your Windows 95 disk into the computer, and it will install the hardware. And add and remove programs is a new feature as well. Like, let's say there's this game or like this Office software you no longer needed. You can click on the software that'll be here and click on Install. And there's added desktop themes for the first time. Like back then, they were only allowed to change the color of the windows, but now you can actually change the background, which you can do like the baseball. You can do 60s United States. You can do space and cool things like that. All settings except icons, pointers, and colors. But let's do all settings. See, even the cursor changes as well, and the sounds, which is a pretty cool feature Microsoft Windows 98 had with Microsoft Plus. Like, even the start menu had different sounds as well. And the date and time had a new and improved Let me change the theme back so I won't annoy you guys. Like, this might not be annoying to some people, but it couldn't be annoying to somebody else. So let's go back to the default theme. Oh yeah, I have to go to the control panel for that. Let's go to the control panel. Desktop themes, where is it? And let's go to Windows default. Because I didn't want to annoy you guys with the start menu sounds. So it has a new date, an improved date and time properties, which you can change the time zone now. You can also change the time manually like you did back then, and you can change the date and calendar on the same side by side. Simplified that for you. And let's go to the fonts. Like, fonts are just basically the same thing. You can add fonts from the internet now. You don't have to use a floppy disk to add fonts like you did in Windows 3.1. And the mouse options are really the same. Like, if you're right-handed, you can click on right-handed or left-handed. Then you can change the pointers and stuff like that, just the same as 3.1. And you can add a password to this user if you want, change Windows password. So, let's take a tour. So I already showed you the desktop themes, I showed you the control panel. Let's see what else is there. So, there is Wordpad, which Microsoft Write changed to Wordpad now. And Wordpad is just basically an advanced version of Notepad because you get more options here. And you can change the font, insert date and time, you can bullet, paragraph, and tabs. About Wordpad, Windows 98. And yeah, this is just basically an advanced version of Notepad, which I'll show you right now. Just programs, accessories, Notepad. Notepad is just basically a simplified note program. You can insert a date and time there. Then you can write notes of what you're thinking, or like notes for school and stuff like that. And word-wrap, just basically, like, instead of writing in a single line like notes are written in, you can write notes in paragraph and click word-wrap, and that's what word-wrap does. Click File, Exit. No, I don't want to save changes. Let's go to Programs, Accessories, Paint. Paint also really didn't change that much because it's the same in 3.1 with the colors on the bottom and the options like erase and paint on the side. So paint never changed until Vista, really. Entertainment, let's see what's new there. Added Windows Media Player now because you can actually play movies and music now, because Windows 95 was the first to have a disc player, or like a disk drive in your computer. And also in entertainment, we got a CD player, we got sound recorder, which was in Windows 3.1. Like, you can reverse the sound, increase the volume, increase the speed of the music you want to do. And startup is like basically what you want the programs to open as soon as you first boot up your computer. And also now you can find files or folders by clicking on this. And you can search for the file here, like you want to search for test, click on Find Now. And test is in the My Documents folder, and you can click on that and it will open up. So, let's go to the calculator. The calculator is the same since Windows 95 and a little different than 3.1. So it's just basically same old calculator, except it's easier to use in Windows 95 and 98 because you actually get to see the arrow, unlike 3.1 is just a dot if you were on the calculator app. So this is Windows 98, and if I was living in 98 and, well, I was just a baby, but if I was a grown adult using Windows 95 and 98, and then I decided to use Windows 98, I would consider this a good upgrade. And it also introduced a disk defragmenter, and it also shows Welcome to Windows, which shows you the new features and stuff like that. And system information shows you what operating system you're using. Oh, okay. Or you can just go right click on my computer and properties, and you get this Windows 98 Second Edition. Alright, guys. Well, this is me doing the history of Windows for Windows 98. Next version of Windows wasn't really that good because they released an operating system 1 year later, and the next version of Windows also had crashes and the active desktop stopped working. And I'll show you that in the next version of Windows.